And beginning with a health crisis that has erupted in India, the US has now come forward and assured India it will provide all assistance, including life-saving medical supplies to the country. It is to help the South Asian nation beat the deadly pandemic. India is currently battling its second wave of coronavirus. On Sunday, US President Joe Biden tweeted that just as India sent assistance to the US as our hospitals were stranded early in the pandemic, we are determined to help India in its time of need. Vice President Kamala Harris has also reacted to India's worsening crisis. Echoing Biden's statement, Harris said the US is working closely with the Indian government to rapidly deploy additional support and supplies during an alarming COVID-19 outbreak. As we provide assistance, we pray for the people of India, including its courageous healthcare workers. The tweets are the first reactions by the top American leadership after recent outbreak of deadly COVID-19 pandemic in India. In the last few days, two leaders faced criticism for their slow response to their natural ally. On Sunday, India's National Security Advisor Ajay Doval spoke to his American counterpart Jake Sullivan, during which the White House announced it is urgently sending medical supplies and equipment to save lives in India. The statement released by Sullivan's spokesperson highlighted the US will urgently provide raw material needed by the Serum Institute of India to produce Covishield vaccine. This comes after Serum Institute sent out multiple tweets to US President Joe Biden in the last few days, urging President to allow export of raw material required for the production of COVID-19 vaccine in India. Earlier on Sunday, US top infectious disease expert and chief medical advisor Anthony Fauci said that US will consider sending surplus AstraZeneca vaccines to India. The White House has, however, not responded to Fauci's statement. Speaking on ABC News This Week program, he said Washington is actively looking at ways to boost and to New Delhi. Listen in.
Right now, even as we speak, George, there's discussions about really ramping up what we can do on the ground, oxygen supplies, drugs, tests, PPE, as well as taking a look in the intermediate and long run about how we can get vaccines to these individuals, both immediately now, as well as in the situation where you help them to be able to essentially make vaccines themselves.
An India-centric American trade advocacy group has also come to the aid of India. On Sunday, the US-India Strategic and Partnership Forum said it has placed orders for 100,000 portable oxygen concentrators, and it is working to airlift oxygen cylinders to New Delhi and other cities, as well as sending shipment of vaccines directly from pharmaceutical firms. And WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal is joining us live from New Delhi. Siddhant, the Biden administration has finally agreed to provide critical supplies needed for vaccine production here. What more do you have on this story?
Well, India's allies have come in full support when it comes to helping India as it battles with the worst COVID crisis. We know the situation here. The numbers have been exceeding almost 3 lakhs on a daily basis. But if we talk about the support which has been promised, first let's talk about the Americans. We know the Americans were facing a lot of criticism in the backdrop of comments by the State Department and by the White House, the State Department saying that American lives matter, and this was a lot of uproar. And now, of course, we have seen the last 12 hours a lot of comments by the top officials, the US President, the Vice President and other officials as well. The biggest, of course, breakthrough is that US has agreed to identify resources for the manufacture of COVID vaccines here in India, which is a breakthrough because earlier the US was saying that it will not lift the ban. But largely, if you talk about other countries as well, the English UK Prime Minister also announced that they are going to send planes. In fact, some of the planes are right now on the way and will be reaching India Tuesday morning with ventilators and oxygen concentrators as well. The French have promised support. The Germans have promised support. In fact, the European Union also, in a series of tweets by their officials yesterday, promised support, including activation of their crisis management group as well. But if we look about what is happening as of now, as WION reported last week, that India is trying to procure supplies. India has got tankers from Singapore and liquid oxygen from Saudi Arabia. This is, as of now, the situation which stands. India is trying to utilize its diplomatic energy to procure essentials at a time when it is dealing with this massive major crisis.
Siddhant, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan spoke to Indian counterpart Ajay Doval, assuring all help to India. What more in terms of assistance can we expect from U.S. in the coming days?
Well, we can expect practical cooperation, first of all. Secondly, we know, as the US announced, ventilators, oxygen concentrators. These are the things which, of course, India is falling short, and these can come very soon, perhaps by the end of this week. We know that UK has said that first planes will be landing on Tuesday morning, and by the end of this week, more planes will be landing. In fact, we are getting almost more than 23 oxygen concentrators from Germany as well. So these are the things which are happening on the ground. But the fact that US support has finally come after much criticism is, of course, a positive news. We know that the US has been talking about how India is a Quad partner country. Of course, under the Quad partnership, a lot of vaccines will be produced here in India, which, of course, will be financed by US and Japan.
Well, thanks, Siddhant, for joining us and getting us all these details on this important developing story. WION now available in your country. Download the app and get all the news on the move.